OTF jammed and clapped back at Brian Steele. Trap Monroe's got a new video out, and we about to get into it. Let's see what he said to them. Let's see if it make the situation a little crazier.
All right, so I just got out of court. We were seeing OTF jam. He was on the stand, and to begin with, he was getting grilled once again by Brian Steele. Now, there was talk yesterday about this sort of, alleged lie that Jam had been caught out in. There was this conversation in a studio where they had apparently discussed a bounty. Now, specifically what happened, because I think there was some confusion about this, there was basically this discussion of a bunch of OTF members had been in a studio in Atlanta, and Dirk had basically said something along the lines of if anybody catches Quando and Lil Tim, they straight, they good, they gonna be straight. It's good. And then apparently somebody in the room, not Dirk, and it was never claimed that it was Dirk that said this, but apparently somebody in the room basically put forward and said $500,000, half a ticket, $1 million.
Hey, y'all need to give me a half a ticket right now. Nigga, give me 10,000, I've been straight right now. Cause I need that shit. I ain't trying to kill nobody or none of that shit. I ain't doing that.
And Dirk just replied to that allegedly,
maybe I hit a person.
Listen, they're gonna be straight. They ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. Now, that conversation was kind of brought up. That was like a big thing. And, they were really pressing him on the basis that Jam had basically not brought this up in an earlier recorded interview with the feds. And Jam had said previously, hey, look, this conversation, there's more to it. There's more context to that. They played the clip that basically had Jam saying that, look, I never spoke with Dirk about no bounty. I never spoke with him about Quando and Tim. But he basically clarified. He had his chance to get his lick back on Brian Steele. And he basically clarified and explained, yeah, that's what I said. But the reason I said it is because we was in specific context of that conversation with the feds talking about one-on-one conversations. I ain't never had no one-on-one conversation with Dirk until after the situation happened when I confronted him. So he was basically saying, look, in context, I was basically saying I ain't have no one-on-one conversations with him about a bounty. That was a group conversation in a studio. So
say, nigga, you still was talking, nigga. You snitched on yourself. It's over with. That nigga want his motherfucking half a ticket. Fuck that.
So that kind of explained it a little bit, but Brian Steele clapped back. Brian Steele said, okay, what studio was it? Jam didn't know. He said, can you describe the studio? You know the details of it? He was like, bro, I don't know about studios. I don't know where it was. I don't even know my way around. I don't know how to book a flight. And so Brian Steele kind of clapped back.
Nigga, you too old to know how to book no flight, nigga. That shit take 2 seconds, bro.
Back at him on that basis. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of landed. That was quite a good response. So I think he definitely created some reasonable doubt, but obviously Jam, he had his reply too. So look, it was kind of a bit of a good day, but anyway, we got the crazy insane tweakers out here just going crazy, man. They saying I'm saying Dirk snitching. Could somebody find me where I said that? I literally never said that. Okay, people are out here spreading lies. Dirk's definitely trying.
Hey, that nigga is trying to press that nigga. That nigga said, why the fuck you say Dirk snitching? Look at him.
I'm trying to blame it on Vonnie, but I ain't never say he's snitching. But anyway, look.
Since the dawn of...
Bro, that nigga getting pressed outside. He got the security outside. It's good. They ain't gonna touch my boy, though. Ain't gonna touch him.
So look, I ain't even acknowledging these fools, but that's what I'm dealing with out here, okay? And I'll be back with the next update next. All right, so we got another crazy update, and this one now involves another very well-known Chicago figure, Mimo 600. So apparently, Jam revealed that basically they had the drop on Quando Rondo in Savannah, Georgia. They said that they was potentially gonna do something to him in Savannah, in his home city, and basically, Jam said Mimo 600 fucked the whole thing up. He said that apparently when Mimo went out to Savannah to go and film that music video that he filmed up there, I think it was at the Fraser Holmes apartment, right?
Bro, what the fuck?
But basically, all right, so basically, I'm getting crazy heckled right now. It's actually insane. We got all type of crazy heckling going on, literally screaming at me. But basically, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep reporting. They saying Mimo 600 went and did the music video in Quando's hood and blew up the spot. They basically said he went and made the spot hot, and they couldn't go and slide. They couldn't go and slide after they got Quando's location. So apparently, Mimo 600 when people...
Bro, these niggas yelling free Dirk. They don't give a fuck what this nigga talking all night. Bro, they mad as fuck at you, dog.
People were saying Mimo 600 was out there dancing, and I like Mimo 600. I rock with Mimo 600, but apparently he actually blew up and ruined one of the situations where they was gonna slide. So that one was pretty crazy. Listen, Mimo, I don't know, we gotta find out what's going on with that. So look, there was a very, very big update that we just got in court, okay? I've rushed out here to give you that update, but it was crazy. So apparently they're saying that OTF Jam was actually having conversations secretly through another person on jailhouse tablet email systems with Vonnie. Now, the crazy thing about that is there was apparently some kind of protective order in place that basically meant that they weren't supposed to have no conversation. Now, Brian Steele was trying to propose this as basically this big thing of like, you not following the rules, you doing things you're not supposed to do, you out here having conversations with people you ain't supposed to be having conversations with. Now, that was very, very interesting on its own, but
you know they record every fucking phone call on jail. And it's like, it literally say, you can't three-way or none of that shit, bro. So he low-key dumb as hell.
Jam clapped back, and just like he did when they was talking about these alleged bounties and stuff going on, they basically saying that Jam had he had an excuse, he had an argument. He basically made the argument that he said, look, I wasn't talking to Vonnie to try and clear things up with a case, or, you know, get in cahoots to threaten him, or to even try and, you know, create any kind of situation where we was getting our story straight. He said the only reason I was talking to Vonnie is because I wanted the protective order lifted so I could go to a better jail. He said he was in a shitty jail. He called it what did he say it was? Bogus. He said it was a bogus jail. It wasn't where he wanted to be.
That's Chicago favorite. That's the bogus word, nigga. That's their favorite shit to say, bro.
He was having to pay $6 every time he used the phone in there. And he was basically saying, look, I was speaking to Vonnie to try and get the protective order lifted. And they went back and forth about this for ages. When the jury left the room, the judge basically kind of admonished Brian Steele and basically said, look, you got to stop repeating and going over this same line of questioning over and over and over again. Because basically, like, it's understandable. It's understandable that he was trying to improve his situation in the jail. If you got some evidence to show that they were in cahoots in any other type of way, then you can show it. But it's understandable why people would, you know, want to have their situations improved. He said, look, you talking about people doing dishonest conduct while they were locked up. He's saying, hey, there were a bunch of allegations that Lil Durk had, you know, certain conduct while he was locked up. Obviously, we know about an Apple Watch and a couple of other things. But the other crazy thing that was part of that was, obviously, they said, and also when Lil Durk was complaining about his conditions at MDC and he was in solitary confinement for an extended period of time, that was brought up in front of the court too, and we straightened that out. We helped Durk out with his situation. So it's kind of, I think Brian Steele thought he had a couple of bombshells, but I'll be real with you, Jam always had a good answer to clap back about it with. So I do think that Jam and Brian Steele, they going head to head. They both very, very serious, and I honestly, right now, I'm not sure.
OTF Jam trying to get out that jam in there.
It feels like it's a bit of an even scorecard when it comes to Brian Steele and Jam did eventually get on the stand. Well, he stayed on the stand, and now it's Didi's lawyer to question him. Didi's lawyer's turn to question him, and he didn't really get a chance to get into it before the break, but we are probably going to be taking a closer look at that very soon, and I'll let you know what he said. So look, there's obviously been a lot of talk about Jam being on the stand and a lot of interesting things that he said, but it's not just what he said, but it's also what he's doing. There was a moment where they kind of were going back and forth, and you know, there was basically a little bit of a pause. All right, the lawyers had to talk about something procedural, and I'm not gonna lie, OTF Jam, once again, he kind of keeps doing this thing where he shakes his head and laughs. He laughed and looked right at Durk and grinned at him, and Durk smiled and looked right back at him.
Nigga was in that bitch thinking like, nigga, fuck you, nigga. That nigga was like, man, looking at that nigga, I'm already knowing.
Ain't gonna lie, Durk's smile was looking like one of them fake smiles that you do when you know you pissed. You can like, yeah, like one of them, okay? But the Durk and Jam dynamic is pretty fierce. They're definitely looking at each other. Jam ain't up there with his head down. He cracking jokes. He's smiling a lot. He basically clapping back at Brian Steele with a lot of confidence. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Jam's putting on a good performance. That's not to say Brian Steele's doing badly. I think they're both doing a really good performance. Clearly, Jam was well prepared for this. He was much more prepared and much more confident than YSL Woody was. But I'm honestly feeling like Jam is actually putting in a lot of good work. And basically, he really singing for his supper when it comes to, you know, this cooperating and really trying to put Durk away. He clearly wants to put Durk away. He's not scared of Durk. He's looking right at Durk. He's smiling. He's laughing, chuckling at times at Durk. And it is intense. So I just can't believe what I'm seeing, to be honest with you. But Jam in there with the utmost confidence. He had the whole courtroom laughing at certain points. Like Brian Steele's saying to him stuff, like Brian Steele's being slick, being like, oh yeah, Mr. Minister. Jam talking about, bruh, that is not my name, sir. He's talking about, that ain't my name. We talking about Mr. Minister, that ain't my name. Like, he having little jokes, he having his little moments. I'm not
that bitch like, nigga, my name is Jam, nigga. I'm here to jam these niggas up.
Not gonna lie, I'm impressed. There was there was one moment, okay, where they basically, Brian Steele said, you were wearing sweatpants when you did the hit that said rats to riches. Jam said,
Nigga, rats to riches.
Rats to riches? He said, that said rags to riches. He said, you a lawyer, you supposed to be able to read, nah? Damn. He basically said, ain't no way I would have warned them if they said rats to riches. Now they're...
Nah, Jam, you is a rat now, nigga. Like, you kind of a rat, man.
A couple of times where Brian Steele was clearly trying to get him flustered, basically, you know, rubbing it in his face, calling him a snitch, saying, what is a rat? Being a rat is snitching. That's what you're doing right now. Like, that's what you're doing. You're a snitch. You're a cooperator. He called him a snitch to his face. And Jam basically was like, well, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, but it's like he don't see himself. He don't identify as a snitch. But clearly that's what's going on. All right. So that's the situation. But yeah, I feel like there's been some pretty fierce exchanges between them. Brian Steele definitely did a good job, but Jam did a good job back. So I'll let you guys know as soon as I hear more information. I'm going to do a few more updates, but yeah, stay tuned. But it is wild in that courtroom, I'm not gonna lie. So one of the craziest things that's been alleged in this whole thing was that OTF Jam's baby mama had been murdered. Now, I wasn't sure. There was a woman, a postal worker, that got murdered. People was trying to say that was her. Now, I knew that was false. I knew that was debunked, but there was rumors that there was another woman and the situation was real. Now, there's rumors that Dirk might have been involved and it was retaliation. Now, that was unconfirmed, but it was confirmed. He said his baby mother was actually murdered.
Man, RP to his BM, man. That shit fucked up.
And he gave some very, very interesting backstory. Obviously, spoke about, you know, spinning this yarn to his baby mum, basically saying, he's going to be home in 18 months. So look, I don't know what his family situation was, but I know that it was some kind of situation where he basically, it sounds like he had two women pregnant at the same time, his wife and his baby mama. And he was...
Damn. Say OTF Jam got the hose and he a rat.
Obviously caught on these jail recordings saying he's going to be back in 18 months. Now, he caught Brian Steele out on a mistake in this one because basically they were going back and forth and he was saying, you really thought you was going to be out in 18 months for this? And he was like, nah, I was talking about my gun case when I got caught in the car with the gun. I got 3 years. I thought I was going to be out in half in 18 months. I was just telling him that to keep it cool. Obviously, I'm knowing...
Nigga, if you a felon, I think you get like 5 years automatically with a gun. What you mean you gonna get out in 3 months? I mean 18 months or something. Like, damn. What type of lawyer that nigga got?
I ain't getting out no 18 months. He's like, I'm just trying to put on a positive front. I was trying to protect my family's feelings. So that was an interesting point, and Brian still kind of wasn't really, you know, having a great response to that. But what was crazy is what he said after that. Now, you might remember that there was an infamous post going around where Jam had basically compared himself to Sammy the Bull, and he had basically, you know, put his address up. He basically inferred that he was on house arrest. He put his address up on Instagram story and basically said, anyone got a problem with me? You know what I'm saying? Here's my address. You know where I'm at. Now, it turns out he admitted that was his sister's address.
Nigga, why you putting your sister shit up there, bro? That's lame as fuck, bro.
His sister that you don't rock with, and he had done that on purpose to...
Alright, never mind. He don't rock with his sister. But that's still fucked up. I don't know how many followers you got, but that's fucked up, bro.
Scare her. So apparently the story goes, when his baby mom was actually murdered, his son was then sent to live with his sister, but that sister had then given that son to the other sister who Jam don't talk to. So he basically said, I put her low.
Alright, now I'm seeing why he doing this shit, because...
online as associated with me to scare her. Now, Brian still clapped back talking about this was a dangerous situation you created. People were going to do a drive-by. And he was like, look, no, that never happened. And he was like, I was in my feelings. I was mad. That's just something.
Nigga, you posted your sister address on there, motherfucker. Everybody knows she live there now.
No, I was trying to scare her. But that was low-key crazy that he even admitted to doing that. He was basically saying, look, it's so hurtful when you lose your child or, you know, have your child taken from you. He said, I'm that child's only parent. His mother was murdered. He said, I was in my...
The nigga was in his feelings, so I take it back a little bit, but I can't tell you I ain't got no kids. I don't know nothing. So I can't tell you shit about no nigga with kids, man.
My feelings about that. So I put the addy online and I was trying to scare her. That probably did scare her, right? That probably did go to the feds. Now that definitely didn't look good for the jury, but the fact that Jam was willing to actually offer his side of it and basically explain what he felt about the whole situation, low-key added some context. Every time Brian Steele was trying to pull a fast one on Jam, he was clapping back with quite good context, to be completely honest with you. That's my opinion, all right? But anyway, I will let you know. There's so much more that I was writing so fast, man, but I'm going to let you guys know what else happened.
Damn. Just finished my whole work week. 48 hours. I said 48. 40 hours. I feel unemployed. Damn. Dirk finessed them boys. Nigga, damn. What the fuck? Trap. You killing it, bro. That nigga said all my life. But look, man, appreciate who stayed to the end. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back with more videos.